The kingdom of Thalassia had once glittered like a dream woven from blue glass, but Princess Mireia now saw sickness in every current. Coral that used to bloom like underwater gardens had turned the color of old bones. Fish swam in confused circles, their scales marked with strange sores. From the highest balcony of the Pearl Palace, Mireia watched gray clouds of waste drift down from the surface world like poisonous snow. The elders whispered that the sea was being murdered by creatures who walked on two legs and called themselves human. Mireia felt the pain personally, as though the ocean were a second skin being slowly peeled away. Her mother, Queen Althea, tried to keep hope alive, yet even she could not hide the fear in her eyes. During the nightly tide council, the seers announced that if nothing changed within a year, Thalassia would become a graveyard. Mireia understood then that she was not only a princess of beauty and song, she was heir to a dying world. No mermaid was allowed to rise above the break line, the shimmering border between water and air. Legends told of sisters who had gone up and returned with burned lungs and broken hearts. Still, Mireia spent hours near the boundary, watching the shadows of ships crawl like metal monsters. She imagined the humans laughing, unaware that their waste was choking an entire civilization beneath them. One evening she confessed her thoughts to her closest friend, the dolphin guardian Nereus. "If we wait for mercy, we will vanish," she said. Nereus circled her anxiously, clicking warnings, yet he also knew she was right. The ocean needed a voice on land, someone brave enough to walk among the destroyers and remind them that the sea had a soul. Hidden beneath the palace lay the Chamber of Tides where relics older than memory slept. Mireia sneaked there and opened the shell of transforming, an artifact said to grant a mermaid temporary human form. The spell required courage and sacrifice, legs in exchange for scale, breath of air in exchange for the comfort of water. As she touched the glowing shell, visions flooded her mind, cities of glass, roaring machines, and a young human man with sad, thoughtful eyes. The high priestess caught her before she could complete the ritual. Instead of anger, the old woman showed weary understanding. "Destiny has already chosen you," she murmured, placing a moonstone around Mireia's neck. "On land your name will be Mira. Guard your secret, for humans fear what they do not control." The transformation felt like being rewritten by lightning. Mireia's tail split into trembling legs, and the first breath of air burned her throat like cold fire. She washed ashore near a busy harbor where the smell of oil and smoke made her dizzy. Fishermen stared at the strange girl in seaweed-woven cloth, assuming she was a victim of a shipwreck. Among them stood Daniel Voss, son of the powerful industrialist whose factories lined the coast. He offered her a coat and spoke gently, unlike the others who only saw inconvenience. Mireia sensed kindness beneath his tired smile and wondered if he was the man from her visions. Daniel brought Mira to his family estate, a towering mansion built from profits the ocean had paid for. The walls were decorated with paintings of ships and conquered seas. Every luxury around her felt stolen from her people. Yet she forced gratitude, remembering her mission, to change the heart of the man who would one day inherit the empire of pollution. At dinner she met Harold Voss, Daniel's father, a proud titan who spoke of the sea as a resource, not a living realm. His words cut Mireia deeper than any harpoon. She realized convincing him would be harder than surviving on legs. Over the following days Daniel showed Mira the city. Crowded markets, roaring highways, and the enormous factory that poured dark rivers into the bay. She listened carefully, learning the language of humans and the logic they worshipped: profit, growth, convenience. At night she cried silently, feeling the distant heartbeat of Thalassia weakening. Daniel confessed that he dreamed of cleaner technology but lacked courage to oppose his father. Mireia saw the doorway fate had opened. Without revealing who she was, she made a vow: she would help Daniel find that courage, even if it meant losing her chance to return home. Life on land was a storm Mireia had to learn to survive. As Mira, she practiced walking without trembling and speaking without the musical echo of the sea in her voice. Daniel enrolled her in community classes, claiming she was a relative from a distant coast. She learned to read human letters, amazed at how they trapped thoughts like fish in nets. Yet every sound of engines outside reminded her that these same clever minds were poisoning her home. One afternoon Daniel took her to the beach. Children played where Mireia once swam freely as a mermaid. She felt the water calling her name in secret syllables. When she dipped her feet into the waves, pain shot through her legs, the price of the spell. Daniel noticed her tears and assumed she was remembering a lost family. In truth, she was mourning an entire kingdom he did not know existed. Daniel was not like his father. He spent nights studying environmental reports he was not meant to see. Mireia watched him argue with Harold about waste filters and safer fuels. The old man laughed, saying compassion was a disease of the young. Mireia realized Daniel was a prince trapped inside the enemy castle. Their friendship deepened through simple moments, shared meals, walks by the harbor, conversations about dreams. Mireia spoke carefully, planting ideas about responsibility without sounding strange. She felt herself drawn to his gentleness, a feeling both beautiful and dangerous. Loving a human had ruined many mermaids in old tales. Nearest the dolphin found a way to reach her near the shore, leaping at night when the moon was high. He carried news of Thalassia, more coral had died, and the queen was growing weak. The council feared the princess had been lost forever. Mireia pressed her forehead to Nearest and promised she would not fail. But time moved differently on land. Weeks passed like quick tides, and she had little progress to show. Harold planned to expand the factory, which would double the poison. Mireia understood that subtlety was no longer enough. She needed proof that even humans could not ignore. A storm burst a pipeline near the bay, turning the water black. Dead fish floated like fallen leaves. Mireia felt the agony as if knives were twisting in her chest. She ran to the shore despite the pain in her legs and screamed at the sight. Daniel followed, horrified by the disaster his family had caused. Television crews arrived, and for the first time Daniel publicly questioned his father's empire. Harold blamed an accident, but Mireia knew the sea recognized murder even when dressed as misfortune. That night she told Daniel stories of an imaginary underwater people who were dying. He listened more seriously than she expected. Mireia learned how to debate on television. She spoke about oceans as living relatives, not resources. Viewers called her the girl with the sea in her eyes. Daniel admired her courage, unaware how literally her words were true. Harold's allies mocked her as emotional and ignorant. Their cruelty taught her another human lesson: those who profit from wounds hate anyone who names the knife. Several investors withdrew from the Voss company. Workers began demanding safer conditions. Harold's confidence started to fracture like old coral. He ordered Daniel to choose family or rebellion. Mireia feared the pressure would break Daniel, yet he surprised her by standing firm. "Some inheritances are diseases," he said. She almost kissed him then, forgetting she was born from water. Nearest guided her to a hidden cove where the reef had turned white as ghosts. Mireia felt her mother's weakness echo through the currents. She sang an ancient healing song, but the coral did not answer. She realized time was nearly gone. Humans moved slowly, while death and the sea moved like lightning. Mireia and Daniel delivered the photographs of illegal dumping to authorities. Investigations began. Harold raged like a storm god losing worshippers. He hired private agents to discover Myra's past. The net was closing again, this time around both of them. One rainy evening Daniel asked about her family. Tired of lies, Mireia told a half-truth: she came from a people who lived hidden because humans would not understand. Daniel held her hands and said he would believe her, no matter how strange. Love grew between them like a forbidden tide. Harold employed a marine biologist known for capturing rare creatures. The man studied Mireia from a distance and felt something inhuman about her grace. He began setting traps near the bay, hoping to catch the mysterious girl. Mireia sensed the danger and avoided the water, though every cell begged to return. Queen Althea sent a final vision through the moonstone, Thalassia preparing for evacuation, accepting possible exile to deeper, colder seas. Mireia screamed at the injustice. Her mission could not end in surrender. She vowed to risk everything for a decisive act. Daniel organized a massive coastal rally. Mireia spoke before thousands, describing a future where factories healed the sea instead of wounding it. Her voice carried an otherworldly power, even skeptics felt moved. Harold watched on screens, realizing the girl he despised had become the conscience of a nation. The biologist's men captured Mireia while she walked alone. They tested her blood and discovered traces of something impossible. Preparing to expose her as a new species, they ignored her pleas. Nearest alerted Daniel, who raced to rescue her. Love turned him fearless. Cornered in the laboratory, Mireia allowed her true form to emerge. Scales blossomed like blue fire. Her voice shook the walls. The captors fell back in terror. Daniel arrived and saw the miracle with his own eyes. Instead of fear, wonder filled him. He finally understood the depth of her sacrifice. Mireia expected rejection, yet Daniel touched her shimmering hand with tears. "Then the sea sent me an angel," he whispered. Together they escaped before the biologist could recover. Their bond became unbreakable in that moment of truth. Evidence of the kidnapping destroyed Harold's last defenses. Authorities arrested his allies, and the company faced nationalization unless it reformed. The old titan looked at Mireia as if seeing the ocean itself judging him. Power, for the first time, tasted like dust in his mouth. Daniel proposed converting the factories to clean energy with international support. Mireia connected scientists with merfolk healers through secret meetings at sea. Two civilizations began a cautious dance. Hope returned to the reef like shy sunlight. Queen Althea died peacefully knowing her daughter had not failed. Thalassia mourned, and Mireia felt the crown of responsibility settle upon her spirit even while she walked on legs. She understood that leadership sometimes required living between worlds. Mireia could now choose to remain human forever. Daniel begged her to stay, promising to protect the oceans with his life. Yet her people needed a queen beneath the waves. The decision felt sharper than any harpoon. A historic treaty was signed between coastal nations and representatives of the merfolk, whose existence was gradually revealed. Mireia stood beside Daniel as symbol of unity, half sea, half shore. Children planted coral while machines were dismantled. The bay began to breathe again. Mireia spent one last day as human. She and Daniel walked where they first met. They promised to love across distances, like moon and tide guiding each other. At sunset she stepped into the water and let her tale return, tears mixing with salt that had a. Ships sailed with respect. Queen Mireia ruled Thalassia while working with Daniel, now a global guardian of the seas. Their meetings at the break line became legend. The story of the mermaid who saved both realms was sung by humans and merfolk alike, proof that even the deepest wounds can heal when courage learns to love.